Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Disney, one of my favorite things to talk about. So we're going to Disney very soon. This is only my second trip. Well, I guess technically my third. I don't remember the one that I went to as a child. So it's only my second Disney trip. I feel like a Disney expert though, even though I am not at all. I just do a lot of video watching, DFB guide and all ears and all of the things. I am going to share with you today all about how I've planned our Disney trip. If you guys are new to my channel, my name's Haley. I am a single mom to a 4-year-old, and I do this whole YouTube thing for a living. So I get questions all the time on how I'm planning our trip to Disney. Am I doing it myself? And oh my word, it seems daunting. How are you budgeting and all of that? So I do have a Disney playlist because we went 2 years ago now. Now I basically did none of the planning because it was essentially my first trip to Disney and I knew nothing. A whole playlist on all of our Disney videos from that trip, so you can definitely check out all of those, including vlogs from that trip. You can totally scrap this whole video and do a free travel planner, because I know there's a lot of Disney travel planners out there. Travel planners, so you call them? What do you call them? Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Apparently I need to drink that coffee that's sitting behind me. Yeah, but I just decided to plan this myself because I love planning things. I love making lists. I have just notepads on lists, and I just think that it's fun. And I had the time to kind of do my research and plan things out and know what needs to be planned. So that's why I decided to plan it myself. I would say like 6 months to a year is probably like normal, and you can plan it out way further than that. So first things first, I went on the Disney website. So I will have the screenshots of all of that here so you guys can see what that is all about. I wanted to stay on property since I planned this trip for just Sydney and I. Originally, I thought it was just gonna be the two of us. So I wanted to make this as easy as possible. And I wanted to do a monorail resort. That way I could just hop on over to Magic Kingdom and, you know, not have to fuss too much about, you know, getting on buses and all that. We are going to we are going to Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios as well. We are not doing Epcot this trip. It's a shorter trip than our last. It's going to be 4 nights, 3 days, 3 park days for this trip. So I wanted to look at my resort options, and I really wanted to do a monorail resort. Yes, those are more expensive. Those are the deluxe resorts, and those are like the most expensive ones. The last trip we did a value resort, which are the least expensive on property, like on Disney property resorts. It's all confusing. I'm not going to go too much into it because there are so many videos out there that you can check out that talks about all the resorts. But basically they have value, moderate, and deluxe resorts, and those just range in price from cheapest to most expensive. And for this trip, again, I just wanted convenience, and you'll have to pay for convenience. So I chose the Polynesian because it's just been a dream of mine to stay there. And I actually did like a little question box on Instagram, and I said, where is your favorite place to stay in Polynesian? Or maybe I did a post. The Polynesian won by far. There's a lot of good resort choices. I've only stayed at the All-Star Resort last time, so I don't know any other resorts. I'm sure when we plan, you know, a next trip, we can try another resort. But again, I did really want to do the Polynesian because they just did a Moana inspired like makeover or renovation, and then again with the monorail. And I am crossing my fingers that they open the monorail stop from the Polynesian, because as of right now we are 2 weeks from our trip and it still has not opened. So that's the whole reason why I planned not the whole reason. I really wanted to stay there. I really wanted to go in the fall and see the Halloween decorations. you know, because last time we went and it was the Christmas decoration. So I really wanted to do that. And so I basically just went on the website and looked at the Polynesian and was looking to see what dates they had available. You can just play, if you're flexible, you can play around with it. You can plug in your dates and look to see what resorts are available if you have set dates that you need to go. So you can just play around with the app and either pick your resort ahead of time or just pick your dates and then see what's available for resorts, or, you know, play around with it. I had to do a lot of playing around with it because they had no availability. So I ended up finding some days that worked in September. And I know it's going to be really hot, but we will make do. I decided to not do the park hopper option. The way that it's set up now is like you can only park hop from 2 p.m. on. And since it's such a short trip, I really wanted to get the most out of the park days that we were going to have and just spend like from rope drop to close at the parks instead of hopping, since it's a shorter trip. There's no dining option right now. There's no fast passes right now when I am filming this, so, or it's like done away with. So we didn't have to worry about doing that, but you do need to make a park reservation as of right now. So that's the first thing that I did. Oh, before I even booked the trip, I went to see what, you know, park days were available to make sure, even though I planned it 6 months out, I really, you know, I obviously wanted to make sure that the park was open and available, like it wasn't full for the day. So I did that first. And then after I booked the trip, I went ahead and did our park reservations. So each day which park we were going to attend, and you have to do that as soon as possible. That way you don't risk, you know, booking your reservation and then not being able to actually go to the parks. That would be such a bummer. So make sure you are booking your park reservations as soon as you click and pay. So you just make a $200 deposit and on your trip. So you make a $200 deposit and then you can pay off the rest of your trip up until 30 days before. So it gives you a nice chunk of time to kind of slowly pay off if that's how you want to do it as far as budgeting goes. You can look up, sometimes they'll do like 25% off rooms at a certain resort. You can go on the My Disney Experience app as well, or website, and they have a section where it has all of the deals going on. So whether they're doing like dining deals when you're planning that, your trip, or they're doing room deals, there's, you know, military discount, they do deals. So if you want to save money, that is a good option to check if you are very flexible on your stay. I was very stuck in the mud and wanted to stay at the Polynesian, so unfortunately I did not get any room discounts this trip. So at first I booked the only room that was available was like the Lagoon or Magic Kingdom view, Lagoon view, which is the most expensive. And then I noticed I kept checking back and kind of downgrading my room, and eventually I got to the standard because I really don't care about a Magic Kingdom view. I ended up saving like $1,000 just by downgrading my room to the standard. And again, we're going to be spending our days at the parks mostly, so it's not a big deal to me. And then my mom decided to come as well, so I ended up adding her onto the tickets, which was no big deal. I just called Disney, added her onto the tickets, made the park reservations. While I'm filming this, they still have the Magical Express, which is the Disney bus that gets you from the airport in Orlando to your resort, and that's included, so for free. That is going away, I believe, in January, and you will have to book it and pay for that separately, but they do have a bus service and as well, but you'll have to just pay for it. But for right now, it's included in the cost of things. So there's that. And then I also wanted to book my stroller. So I'm not going to be bringing my own stroller. Sydney is 4 years old, but we'll definitely need a stroller in Disney. I'll probably be wheeling it around empty half the time, and then the other half will be so necessary for her to rest her legs, maybe take a nap. Crossing my fingers that happens at least a couple of days in our trip, and then just to cool off with some fans and just to rest and like chill. It's a lot of walking, so even if your child is way outgrown the stroller situation, I think in Disney it might be a must for you. So look into that. I use Kingdom strollers. I have a link down below where you guys can, if you're looking for a stroller rental, I have a link down below. I love Kingdom strollers because you can just like choose a time for them to come meet you at the hotel and then drop off the stroller. And then when you're leaving, you can pick a time to give the stroller back. So love that. It's just more like, it's just like less worry. You can also, they have like rain covers and food trays and like other accessories if you need them. So it's just so convenient. So as far as budgeting goes, one of my biggest tips, and I always feel like sneaky when I'm doing this, even though everyone should do it and it's totally legit. If you have the Target Red Card, you can get 5% off of your Disney gift card purchase, which is the best tip ever. Also, if you have like a Sam's Club, I don't have like a Costco or BJ's, but I'm wondering if they do a discount on Disney gift cards as well. But Sam's Club definitely does. The Target Red Card is more, like you get more percentage off. So I could purchase $500 gift cards for $475, and that's what I did. So I just purchased like $500 at a time, or like $100 at a time, whatever, however, you know, long you have to spread out your payment, and used that money to pay for our room and park tickets, like our package reservation. And so I ended up saving like $200 or just under $200 on our room and park tickets. I've also bought some Disney gift cards for like our food. This is new to me because our last trip we had the free dining plan, so I didn't have to worry about our food budget really. This time I do. So I purchased some Disney gift cards for our food budget. Now, in order to figure out what our food budget was going to be, or like what I needed to save for our food, I went ahead and looked at all of the menus. I did this over time, and you guys, I know I'm like a crazy person, but this is fun for me, okay? I know some people don't want to do this and spend that much time on it, or have that much time, frankly, but at the end of the night, you know, over the course of several nights, I went ahead and looked up the different parks. Like, this is my Animal Kingdom little like notepad here. So I wrote down Animal Kingdom and like all of the rides. We'll talk about rides in just a second. And I wrote down maybe all of the snacks or the lunches and the foods that I would want and what I would think Sydney would eat. This is just a ballpark. This is not like we have to do this, but I just wrote down the cost of those things and kind of wrote down the price and saw, okay, so I'll budget like $80 a day for food for us because we're not doing many sit down meals. And that's just a personal preference because we really, I'm kind of a picky eater, and I'm not going to be like eating fancy steaks and whatnot. So our food budget is on the lower end, very inexpensive compared to maybe if you're doing a lot of sit down meals, or have a larger family, of course, or like eating meat. So that's what I did personally. And then I, of course, looked at all of the counter service restaurants, which are basically like fast food restaurants. That you can just quickly grab food and go sit down and don't have to have a reservation ahead of time. And then looked at, okay, what I think I would eat, where, because I am picky. So I, you know, wanted to make sure I had options at every place instead of like going to look at the menus and saying, you know, being hangry and then not really wanting anything on the menu. So I did that ahead of time for myself. It was fun. Honestly, I've been watching all of those YouTube videos to see all of the snack ideas that I want to, you know, eat, and like maybe breakfast ideas like cinnamon rolls and Starbucks and for coffee and, you know, certain like treats and whatnot. So yeah, so there's that. Also, as far as the rides go, so when I'm filming this, you don't have to, there's no fast pass right now. It's probably about to get very confusing with the Genie app, but I'm not going to talk about that because I have no experience with it and don't know anything about it. And just crossing my fingers that we don't have to worry about it in the next 2 weeks. But I did want to go ahead, and I keep checking the wait times on the apps. You can look at the map throughout the day and look at the different parks and see what the wait times are like. So you're going to be able to see like which roller coasters or rides have the highest wait times throughout the day and kind of what the wait times do. So I wanted to prioritize certain rides like mine train, Seven Dwarfs mine train in Magic Kingdom. And we, like I said, we plan on doing rope drop to probably close. We'll see how Sydney does throughout the day, and my mom as well. But yeah, so I wanted to plan, okay, I really want to make sure we hit this ride because the wait time tends to get really long throughout the day. So if we can do this first thing as early as possible and just bang that out before the waits get crazy, then that would be wonderful. And all of the other rides that we really wanted to do. And then I wanted to look at the height requirements to see which ones Sydney can do, and just kind of write down all the rides that I really would love to get accomplished throughout the day at each park. I know this is a lot. It seems like a lot, but to me, it's just fun. Like, I'm planning fun, so it's not work to me. I don't know. Like, that's just my take on it, because I'm planning out what cupcake I'm gonna eat, what ride I'm gonna ride. Like, this is fun. The only thing that's not fun is paying the big bill. So I do have a couple of sit-down meals that I have planned. One of them is, so you can look at all of the different ones too, and you can book those if you're staying on Disney property. 60 days out from your trip is when you can book it at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can wake right up on the dot and look for your dining reservations. So I really wanted to do the Hollywood and Vine at Hollywood Studios, which has like all of the characters like Minnie, Mickey, Goofy, and I don't know who else is there. They're a couple of the Fab Fives. I wanted that opportunity to do a character meal so that Sydney could really like see the characters and get into it, because that, you know, is her thing. And in Halloween costumes, I just thought it would be adorable. So I really wanted to do that. I booked that for lunch for one day, but just keep in mind, these sit down meals are expensive, way more expensive than like your fast food, grab and go foods. So it could really eat up your budget if you're planning lots of sit down meals. I'm just gonna say that. And I originally was thinking I didn't want to do Ohana because that would mean it would take away from our park times. And since it's such a short trip, I just thought, well, we'll skip Ohana because I don't want it to eat into our park times. And then our plane tickets changed, or our flights changed. So we're actually on our last day. We're not doing, you know, the day that we're flying home. We're gonna have the morning at the resort. So I was like, oh my word, now I really wanna do Ohana breakfast. But there's nothing available because Ohana is really hard to get. So what I did was go on mousedining.com, and I went ahead and set an alert for them to look for an Ohana breakfast on that day between these times for 3 people. And guess what? Within like 2 or 3 days, they found a reservation for me. I ran to the Disney website and reserved Ohana for breakfast on the day that we are leaving. So it's not without hope. If you go onto mousedining.com, you can set your reservations for something that you know, if you wanted a different time, or you missed your 60-day dining window, or you changed your mind on things. I did also hear that people tend to cancel reservations closer to that day. If you cancel within 24 hours, you're not charged any fees. And I think if you don't cancel and you're like a no-show, your credit card gets charged like $10 a person or something. Don't quote me on that, but you do get charged. That's kind of a rundown on what I did to plan this Disney trip. I hope it made some sort of sense. This is not like a planning guide, so to say. I just wanted to kind of like blurb to you my thought process and kind of how I planned it. I had fun with it, and really just, I don't know, I'm a list person. So each day that we are spending, I wanted to do the first day that we get there is going to be like Animal Kingdom, because it's going to be a Sunday, and I really didn't want to do Magic Kingdom on a weekend. So that's that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like I've blabbed forever, but I'm just really excited. We're gonna go to Disney in a couple of weeks now, and I will have like probably a pack with me and share with you what we are bringing throughout this trip. It's different because the weather's so different this trip than it was my last trip. And then obviously life is different. I will be vlogging, of course, throughout the trip. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.